What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And for today's video, I'm very excited. Today I wanted to do kind of a mid-year check-in on my collection, and then also a very small declutter. It is not a very big declutter at all. I don't feel overwhelmed, and that's kind of weird because at a place when I started this year, I felt slightly overwhelmed. I felt like I had too much makeup, which is maybe why I went really in on decluttering. The items that have actually sold on my Mercari, I have not felt any type of way, so that's really good. But I have started to kind of creep into my declutter bin to see, is this a formula that actually does not work for me, or is it something that I just was not wearing because I pretty much wasn't wearing any makeup in 2019 and 2020. So I'm kind of reassociating myself with my collection overall. I haven't fully gone through that kind of project, if you will, but that'll be something. So my numbers may kind of fluctuate quite in the I got a lot of products category, even though I didn't actually purchase a lot of products. My organization might also change as well, because I'm not really feeling the dividers. I was really loving the structure a couple of years ago, but now I kind of just want to see all my products, just let them flow. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, if you are interested in hearing about kind of how my collection has changed throughout the year, and any products that I am decluttering, let's just get into it. Okay, so what I did at the beginning of the year, I did kind of my seasonal declutter situation. And in that declutter video, I talked about all of the products that I actually were bringing in, and I gave you guys hard numbers. So I took those numbers and actually kept them in a notepad in my phone. And in that notepad, I have now written down the hard numbers of the amount of products that are either physically in my room, physically already kind of been tested out, and products that are on their way to me. So as of recording this video, I have kind of put myself on a 3-month no buy. It's going to be extremely hard. There's so many things already that I'm extremely interested in, but I'm going to try and be true to myself. I really need to take this time to get to know my collection a little bit more, maybe put some more dents into my eyeshadow palettes that are in my project pans, and then just other things. So that's really why I'm doing the project, but that's not why we're here. What I'm going to be doing is actually scooting over, and I'm going to have on screen pictures of the products that I'm detailing, and I'll kind of tell you guys kind of how it fluctuated and why. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the 2 categories of primer. So as for face primers, I started off the year with 4 face primers, and I'm actually currently in June 2022 actually with 4 face primers as well. So I did finish one face primer that I can remember off the top of my head, which was my Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot face primer. I think that was more or less the name of the primer. I did finish that, but I also did more so recently actually pick up. So no, I must have finished 2 primers. I had to have finished 2 primers because I picked up 2 primers more so recently. One is the Danessa Myricks, and the other is the Milk Makeup Blur powder. So I am very excited to test out both of them. I have kind of been intermittently testing out the one that I have in my person right now, but I am very excited to test them both out and then kind of bring you guys a review. As for eyeshadow primer, this category has actually boomed quite heavily on intake. So I came into the year with only 3 primers, which was my NYX, my Natasha, and then maybe my Juvia's Place? No, my Colored Rain. Those were the 3. No, not Colored Rain. I'm sorry. It's the Playing in Makeup by Yolando. Those were the 3 primers that I came into this year. I have added on the Juvia's Place, the Clarity Cosmetics. So those are two primers that I've added in. I'm not loving both of them. I could really declutter the Juvia's Place, and actually I think I am. And I apologize, I keep saying Juvia's Place. Is definitely Colored Rain. So primers, I am gonna keep all four of my face primers. As for eyeshadow primers, I am going to go ahead and just declutter this Colored Rain eyeshadow base, or maybe I could use it as, no, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I want to try it one more time, see if I can get use out of it in a particular technique. And then if I can't, it will be decluttered. But I will be trying it very, very soon. Okay. So I will currently have 5 eyeshadow primers in my collection, which I'm not mad about. I like the variety, although because I don't necessarily like all those primers and the shades don't really coordinate, I haven't really been using all of them in my tutorials, because I do just prefer the shade of the Natasha Denona for my tutorials 9 times out of 10. Brow products have also boomed very significantly. Now I've been picking up eyeshadow pencils on kind of the semi-regular when they're on discount, just because I realize that I get through them about 3 in each month. So that really shows you how many brow products I brought into my collection. The fact that I actually have 9 currently, and I started this year out with 2. That said, I had 2 of them that were actually sent to me from one of them. The Merit Beauty products were actually sent to me, and everything else, like I said, was purchased on discount. So I'm not really bent out of shape, and I know I will get through those products. Those are kind of the workhorse products in your makeup routine, and you never really think about them, but buying them in advance does actually end up being helpful. So I started this year with 8 foundations, and I am actually going to go ahead and declutter 2. So these are 2 of the 4 foundations that I can timestamp down to at least the latest joining my collection in 2019, and the textures are weird, and or the shades are just, it's just too dark. I can't get any use out of them in my current kind of tan situation, so there's no reason to keep them. They're old. Let me just get rid of them. Hopefully I don't, and thankfully I won't get any like skin irritation from them. So I am decluttering my Too Faced Born This Way foundation in Cocoa and my Smashbox Studio Fin Skin in 4.3. I find that both of these are rather dark. I don't know if it's over time or just like now I'm just seeing how dark they are, but either way they don't match me anymore, so I'm just gonna get rid of both of them. I do have a couple of foundations on their way to me though, and I'm not really bent out of shape about that. I'm actually quite excited for the foundations that are on their way to me, and I have actually finished up quite a few foundations this year. I want to say off the top of my head 2 or 3, and I'm really excited about that. I am currently panning one foundation that I did have since 2019, and it's quite old, but I think it's a decent shade match. It's a little darker than me, but it's not too bad. And then I also kept the Fenty because it's not terrible, and I think I could get more use out of it during the winter for filming, not during summer. Summer, it just felt so heavy on my skin and I did not like it, but I think I could get use out of it in the winter. If I don't like it again in the winter, I will just go ahead and throw it away though. Okay, now concealers. I came into the year with 3, and I now currently have 5 one way somehow. I know I picked up the Dior, I picked up the LYS, I picked up the KVD, and I picked up the Sigma. So I picked up 4 concealers, which means I must have finished 2 concealers over the span of the 6 months, and I am actually going to go ahead and just declutter this Juvia's Place concealer. It is technically in my Graveyard Project pan. I have not reached for this. It is too dark for me. Let the Ghost go, and this is quite old as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. And so grand total in June 2022, I will have 4 concealers, and I'm loving all of them, and I'm actually almost done with one of them in my project pan. So actually by the time this goes up, I may actually only have 3 concealers, and they will have all been purchased this year, which is really fantastic and really it's really nice. So either way, I am very, very proud of myself for this category specifically. And I have a feeling I'm going to feel that same way about my foundations. I just need a couple of months. I've been getting through my foundations quite quickly, not in a bad way. I've been using my makeup, like actively using it. Basically, I've been putting makeup on my face 4 to 5 times a week, and that is very rare for me previous to 2022. But I've just been really enjoying makeup, finding my love, finding this passion, and just getting use out of the products that I've been picking up. So yeah, that's that. I came into this year with 6 pressed powders. I know off the top of my head that I just finished the one pressed powder, which was the Essence Peach Me Up pressed powder. I haven't really actively started panning another one because I'm actually actively working on my loose powder, but you know, I just want to kind of continue to reduce the amount of powders in my collection and not necessarily pick up any new ones. So I'm not necessarily mad at that number. I'm just happy that the number is going down. As for my loose powders, I started off this year with 3. I am now down to 2. I've fully panned my Fenty little mini in cashew. I love that powder. I love that shade. I do want to pick up a full size, but I also just, like I said, don't feel the need to kind of hoard powders like I used to. So I am just actively trying to reduce my powders overall this year, and I would love to get down to like 1 loose powder and maybe 4 pressed powders by the end of this year. I started off this year with 4 setting sprays, and I am very, very happy to report that I only have 2. I have this terrible one that I've had for quite some time, and then I have the one that I literally just picked up late 2021, early 2022. Very excited with these numbers. I am excited that I'm getting through my products. I will be excited to pick up a new setting spray. I think I know the one that I'm going to aim for, but you know, who knows? There might be something new on the block when I am ready to pick up a new setting spray, which, like I said, will not be happening, cross your fingers, until I'm done with my no buy. But I did give myself 3 purchases overall during my no buy beauty wise and 2 makeup purchases. So really, really excited about that. Mascara, I started off this year with 2. I have 4. I'm not mad at that. I only have 1 open, which is really, really good. No, actually I have 2 open. I have my Merit Beauty one and my Maybelline Sky High. I don't really like the Merit Beauty, but I think what I'll start doing is actually using that on days that I wear lashes, and then using my Sky High on days that I don't. That way I'm getting use out of both, and my Merit Beauty does not dry out. So overall, not really mad about that. And if you're wondering, the 2 that I have left over is actually a backup of my Sky High, and then a mini of some random one that I got for a coupon or something. So not really pressed over that. Really happy with this category. Freckle pins, I started off this year with 3, and I currently have 3. I'm actually happy with that. I'm happy that I did not feel the need to pick up any of the new kind of formulations that have been releasing this year, because I haven't been actively wearing freckles this year. So I'm really, really excited about that. I would love to kind of finish up one of my freckle pins before the year is out, but I'm also not kind of holding myself to that by any means. I started off this year with 2 lash adhesives that I know. I think originally I thought I only had 1, but I found the second one, you know, in the middle of the collection. So I definitely did start off this year with 2, but I've definitely bought 2 additional. I bought a black one more so recently, and then in a set of lashes, I know I have one other one. There might also be another kind of mini trial size, but all of the kind of extra ones that I bought this year I have not opened, and I've been really just focusing in on the one lash glue. I have been getting a lot of use out of it, and I am excited to see the progress, and I'm excited that I'm using lashes and I'm getting an enjoyment out of a category that, once again, maybe 2015, I swore I would never wear. Next, I want to talk about face palettes. So I started this year off with 11 face palettes, and I'm currently holding strong at 11. I think that my love and kind of lust over face palettes has drastically reduced. At this point, I need all of the shades to actually work on my complexion before I pick it up. So I'm really happy about that. I feel like that's smarter financially, but also just like it makes more sense. I'm not a makeup artist. I actually don't like doing makeup on other people. And so it makes sense that all of the products in a palette that I pick up actually works for me, you know? Thinking it actually works sometimes. So overall, I'm happy with this category. Not mad. Don't feel the need to get any more. Don't feel the need to declutter it at all. Blushes. So these are just the powder blushes. I went from 22. Apparently, I'm unconvinced that this is the accurate number that I came into the year with, but it's okay. And now I currently have 33. I have no justification at all. I love blush. Blush has always been a category that I will fall weakness to. Pretty much any cheek products, and then eyes. Those are my things. If we're being honest, lips can give or take at this point, but those two kind of ranges or regions, I love them. So yeah, 33 33 blushes, single compacts or duos. I'm not mad at this by any means. They all fit into the kind of organizer that I have. And like I said, I feel like I want to kind of take out the sectioned organizer that I have in my organizer. And so then I'll be able to fit even more. Next we have highlighter. So highlighter, apparently, allegedly, I started off this year with 21 highlighters and I've brought it up to 33 again. Once again, that's allegedly, right? So like, who knows if I can actually count either in December, January, or now. Who knows? I might be wrong both months. But either way, these are the numbers that I have down. I'm not mad at by any means. Once again, I'm just enjoying trying different formulas, kind of rediscovering old formulas that I decluttered and have just been sitting in my bin. So not mad at it at all. Actually really happy about it. Then we got bronzers. To date, powder bronzers, I am holding strong at 27. Very surprised at that, to be quite honest. But I am currently holding very strong on that number. And I'm not mad at it by any means. I am very close to finishing up a powder bronzer, and I have quite a few that actually have pan. I also have another powder bronzer that is in a project. So I'm hoping that I'll maybe get through maybe 1 or 2 more bronzers. It just depends on the formula that I end up attacking next. But I am very excited that maybe I'm not feeling the need to buy such a surplus of bronzers anymore, but I still love bronzer. Don't get it twisted. You'll see in the cream products that number range I know is real life. It's real life. So I also decided to not only count lip glosses, but lip glosses and balms. I don't distinctly know which ones I had before at the beginning of the year, so we're just going to kind of add all of the balms and liquid or kind of bullet to this category. So I started off the year with 4 and I currently have 7. I'm perfectly fine with this. This is not an exorbitant amount. I feel like even people who are minimalists will have this kind of range when it comes to lip glosses and balms. Maybe those are all their lip products they have, but I have never been a minimalist and I don't intend to start now, if we're being honest. So I'm perfectly fine with this category. Then when it comes to liquid lipsticks, I started off the year with 18 and I am actually going to go ahead and declutter 1. This is my Too Faced Melted Matte in the shade Gingerbread Man, it is just way too chunky. I know it's gone. I'm sure the gingerbread woman is on her way. She's just holding on for dear life at this point. But I mean, if we're thinking about it realistically, I don't know how many times I'm going to really use that before I declutter it officially, but until I'm ready to officially declutter it, it's all good. So yeah, like I said, decluttering 1, and so now I'm at a grand total of 20. I do have a couple more liquid lipsticks actually coming because I've enjoyed one formula that I've tried more recently that much, so I am very excited for those to come. Lip liners, I started off the year with 12. I am now down to 10. That makes perfect sense. I have panned 2 lip liners, so I'm very happy about that. I am actively on my way to finishing up yet a 3rd one, and you know, that'd be really nice. It would be bonkers, but could I get to maybe like panning half of my lip liners in a year? who knows, but I'm excited to see where I can go in my progress. But I do want my progress to continue to be in the negative scope and not positive. Eyeliners, I went from 25 eyeliners to 31. I have wanted to try quite a few different formulas, but I am going to actually declutter this Fenty Beauty eyeliner in the shade Perpetrator. So this is a nice deep purple, and I got this because there was a lot of hype. It is dried out. I tried to use it actually in my look today, and it didn't do anything. It barely wanted to swatch just now. It's time for sis to go. I haven't had her for very long, and compared to kind of my drugstore, I am actually highly disappointed that it's already kind of gone south, but I'm not really that bent out of shape. It is what it is. So I went from having 31 to now 30 eyeliners that I am going to be having starting June 2022. Lipsticks, so bullet lipsticks, and I am also including any bullet balms or like lip sheens, anything like that in this kind of category. I went from 21 to 27. I'm not mad at that. I've been enjoying kind of slowly testing out different formulas, and I'm only kind of picking up piecemeal. I'm perfectly fine with that. Typically it takes me, I want to say, about 6 to 8 months to pan a lipstick depending on the formula. I'm currently actually actively panning a lipstick right now, and I think it might take me actually the full year to get through that one, but that's okay. I'm not really like up in arms about it. I'm enjoying my collection. I am enjoying my products. Good to go there. Eyeshadow palettes, sis boomed. Not as much as I thought, and I feel like now I need to recount because it just doesn't make any sense. I've picked up quite a few products, but I also included in this count the products that I maybe this is the right number. Who knows? If I find that any of my numbers are wrong, I will correct myself on screen. So I came into the year with 91 palettes, and currently I counted 106. I'm not overly mad at that because yes, although I've brought in quite a few palettes, I've also tested out quite a few unique and just fun color schemes, and also just different textures and different brands. So I'm not mad at that at all. I've also kind of undecluttered one eyeshadow palette to date, and I'm not mad at it at all. I actually am very happy that I undecluttered it. So, you know, learning and growing. It's hard. Child, I don't know what Stila put in this particular shade, but sis is still thriving. And sis is in Yellow Tails. If you're wondering, it is one of the duochrome shifty ones. So I will go ahead and keep her in my collection. I actually really do like the shade, but I just don't gravitate towards cream eyeshadows very often unless I'm doing kind of a one and done shadow look for work, and I don't typically reach for yellows for work. Single shadows, which are like my single pot shadows that I have, I started out the year with 22 and I currently have 22. I'm glad I didn't add any. Good to go there. And then the last category, no, 2 more categories left. I came into the year with 22 cream cheek products. So this is including highlighter, blush, and bronzer, and I currently am at 38. Quite a big jump, but I've been really enjoying cream products. I am actually a hairs away from finishing my first cream bronzer. Extremely excited about that. Very good goal to have. And so by the time I actually post my update, I will have finished it. So I will actually officially change that kind of situation in the video. And so actually I'm just going to go ahead and update it now because I know by the time I upload this, that one's going to be gone. And so I will have 37 instead of 22. Like I said, not overly mad about that. I am actually actively enjoying all of my cream products, and I do need to kind of go and remind myself of certain formulas again, but otherwise I'm really happy with my collection there. And then the last category that I felt the need to kind of keep a record of is actual lashes. So I went from not trying lashes to kind of okay being with lashes to now I have quite the bit of pair of lashes. I don't know how many lashes I came into the year with. Honestly, I want to say 0, and I currently have 7 now. I don't know how often I'm going to actually reuse them and then how long they're going to last. I'm finding that my Miami lashes the band is quite gummy, but I know you can actually wash lashes, so I need to actually look into like how to do that and then do that. But otherwise, you know, I have 7 lashes either in my collection, like I said, on their way, or I need to test it out, something like that. So overall, not really feeling bugged out about my collection. I'm actually very, very happy where my collection is. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to do this check-in for halfway through the year, and then I will do another kind of inventory check-in at the end of the year after I've done my declutter, if I do a declutter, who knows. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. Hard, but I do it.